So it was failure of one engine. Okay, what I did that you didn't see, it's I just removed the hand of one of the propellers of the captain. Okay, and then when this situation happens, it's up to the captain to decide if he needs to disconnect or not disconnect. Okay, so if the captain feels comfortable to stay in front of a tanker running with one engine, he will just inform the pilot, look, hello, I just lost one engine. I'm comfortable to continue, or I'm not comfortable, I just want to let go as soon as possible. Okay. Captain decided that he's comfortable to drive with one engine, and he just informed the pilot that his cooling power maximum will be 50% of the power because he only has one engine. Okay. So the main practice was for him to practice with one engine, just keep the position in front of the ship. Okay. Just to mention, I mean, this is difficult to simulate because normally if something happens on one engine, the DMR alarm system just raises an alarm. So immediately the chief engineer would call and say, hey, this is happening or whatever, okay? But just to be clear, the information that you have to provide to the pilot is what's going on, we lost one engine, the reason, I don't know, one pipe is broken, whatever, and then how long does it take for us to repair, okay? It's difficult to say. On real life, it's just information that it's very valuable for the pilot. So maybe the pilot decides, no, I don't want you with one engine because I need full pull. So I prefer you let go, and I call the Red Cougar, which is around or whatever. Okay. So
10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, you know, it's. I mean, it depends on the situation. Even if you say it's not possible to start the engine, it's fine. It's at the end the pilot's decision to let go, and also the captain's decision to let go if he doesn't feel comfortable. Okay. So we were like driving for around 10 minutes like this, and then we just started again, okay? Just on real life, if the situation becomes critical, if the pilot is too fast or something, just make sure that maybe the best option is emergency release and escape, okay? If the situation is critical, okay? So let's go to the second drill. The second drill was man overboard. Okay, a few comments about man overboard. Okay. Well,
why he going out overboard? I need him to start engine.
This is a real case. Okay, so
the case is
our AB was in the water, so you cannot use him. Okay. Well, we have here quite minimum crew, which is 5 crew members. Okay. So whenever you lose one of the crew members, you should more or less adapt your master list to the situation, okay? So in this case, Diosdado was in the water. Luckily, the radios are waterproof, so he could say, hey, I'm in the water, okay? So then we acted on an autonomous way, which means we disconnect from the tanker and we launch the rescue boat, okay?
Next time I will jump.
First of all, well, the captain raised the general alarm, okay? One of the comments that I will put on the management visit report that I'm doing is that you cannot hear the alarm outside.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is something that it has to be addressed, or
also PA system also.
and also PA system is not working, okay? Usually if something happens, general alarm, and you should hear it outside, and also by PA system, if you press 65 on the telephone, you should be able to say, attention all crew, whatever the emergency is, okay? So this is one of the first points that I will mention on this management visit report. Then, regarding the distribution of the crew, this should be a little bit improved, okay? Firman, I helped you, I assisted you because the chief engineer is new, so I was more or less helping and explaining how to use. Now he knows how to use, so that's not an issue anymore. But I asked you twice, where is the cook? You said me, down. I said again, where is the cook? You said down. Okay, what's the cook doing down if we need urgently to prepare the rescue boat? Okay, so I don't know if you said to him or he didn't follow or you didn't say, but
yeah.
When something happens and we are missing Diosdado, which is swimming with the sharks, okay, so you need help from everybody and you need to give clear instructions, you or the captain at this point, okay? So cook, come here, help us to prepare the rescue boat, which means take the slings out, take the cover out, and so on. Okay, so this was loss of time.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, this is a drill, and that's why we do these things to see the mistakes.
Yes.
Okay, but on these kind of situations, we should give clear instructions of what has to be done. Okay,
Is there a shot?
there are sharks. Yeah.
I will not jump.
Only cook and me.
Okay, so yeah, this is one of the first things. I mean, clear instructions to all crew members. Okay, well, chief engineer needs familiarization with equipment, which more or less now you know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can practice now. You can drop the rescue boat whenever you want. Just practice it a couple of times.
The ideal speed cap is look like too high. When I plug in,
Well, you should reduce the power also. Put the gauge.
Yeah.
The gauge.
Keep after like
Yeah. When you put forward, boom, power again. If not, anyway, this was also my third comment. It's lack of familiarization with the rescue boat. Okay, I know that you just jumped on board the ship,
Yeah.
but this is something that everybody needs to be familiar. Okay, so it would be maybe good to make some more practices and make sure that always the rescue boat works. Okay, by the SOLAS checklist that you have to do once per week.
Yeah.
We need to start the rescue boat engine and make sure that there's enough gasoline and so on.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it took, since the boat was in the water, which was at 10:03 until the boat is underway, it's 12 minutes. Okay. These 12 minutes, Diosdado is already in Cameroon, drifting in Cameroon. Okay, so just make sure that you are familiar with equipment and that equipment is working properly. Okay. Okay, this would be it. Of course, I mean, we should always try to be as realistic as possible. So, whenever you recover the life buoy on board, okay, first of all, if it's a person, it's very, very heavy. It's difficult to put a person on the boat, okay? But in any case, I mean, we should, from the bridge, which you did, Ode, ask how is the status of the person, if he's conscious or not conscious, breathing or not breathing, so that before the rescue boat arrives back to the tugboat, something should be prepared, like towels or like first aid equipment, medical equipment, or maybe a call to the contract manager asking for assistance from an ambulance. Okay, so I mean, this is a drill, and we can extend the drill as long as we want, but yeah, it should be somehow realistic. Okay, so I was missing some of these communications. Okay, yeah. So normally you have to inform about the status of the person and if something more is required. Okay. For sure, here the water is warm, but if this happens somewhere else, maybe you need towels for sure because there's the possibility of hypothermia and many other things. Okay. So yeah, apart from this, any comments from your side or something?
Yeah, we need to more familiarize.
Yeah.
Just coming here. Okay, also first time, check engine first time.
Yeah, it's
same system.
Yeah,
Same system.
yeah, it's a matter of time and just I mean
more
that's
practice, need more practice.
yeah that's why we have to do the drills and
Yeah.
all of this. Okay, so yeah. Okay, let's go to the other drill, which was the third one. This was fire. Okay, I raised the fire alarm system, and there I'm said there's fire in the toilet of the AVs. Okay, it was very good because you went like very fast. Immediately you said, all crew, please, master, or I don't know if you said in the master station, but you catch all crew on deck.
Yeah.
And immediately you said, okay, let's go down. And it was like a fast reaction. Okay, by the time captain did something which is quite acceptable, which is saying, pilot, I don't need to disconnect. I want first to assess the situation. Okay, the fire, we don't know if it's small or big. Maybe if it's just a garbage bin, we can use the fire extinguisher. If it's fire in the engine room, then immediate disconnection, and that's it. Okay, just to remind you, in real life, you have always the option of the emergency release of the winch. Okay, so just press a button, emergency release, and then we go. Okay. first of all, my first comment is the alarm that was sounding was fire alarm,
Yeah.
and I saw Diosdado taking an extra life jacket for abandon. So, Diosdado, do you know the differences between the fire alarm and the emergency alarm?
El tema es cuando ya se trata de puntos de reuniones. Yo estoy entrenado, como me han dicho, no se sabe la decisión que va a tomar el puente.
Vale, pero-
El alarma de fuego es continuo, alarma continua. Pero la decisión del puente nadie lo sabe. Así que cuando se trata de ir en el punto de reunión, a mí me han recomendado personalmente, si puedes o estás al lado de tu life jacket, lo llevas a mano y escucha la reunión. Que no pasa a ser para dejarse, deja, pero lo llevas a mano.
Okay.
Así me han entrenado.
Bueno, he mentions that he has been trained that every time there is an alarm and they have to master on the master station, that he's always carrying a life jacket for abandon. Okay. In fact, perdón, Diosdado, no aparece aquí. Vale, aquí no pone esto. Okay, we should always follow what.
Parece. Como estamos haciendo charla, de hecho se charla mucho, que cuando se trata de alarma, de ir a punto de reunión, si estás al lado, si puedes,
Vale,
lo llevas a mano, porque no sabes lo que va a decir después el puente.
vale,
Puedes decir, no hay momento, vamos ya.
okay,
Es lo que me ha recomendado hace mucho tiempo.
okay. Bueno, puede que basado en la costumbre lo hagáis así. Aquí en el master list no lo pone, ¿vale?
Sí, no lo sé,
Pero
pero
ok.
no lo pone.
Well, he says that he's used to whenever there's an alarm and he has to go to the master station, if he's close to a life jacket, he will take it with him because it's what he's used to do. Okay. In any case, on the master list, it's not written like this. So it depends on every emergency. Maybe you have to take something, maybe you have to take another thing. Okay. In any case, it was fire. So normally when there's fire, the initial action is not take the life jacket. Okay, but it's fine. Well, immediately after less than 1 minute, you were all down, okay? And then it's when I ask you, Firman, how big is the fire? Okay, I just ask you, you answer to me. You said the fire is small. Okay, so if the fire is small, you don't need the people to wear properly the fireman outfit, okay? Maybe with a fire extinguisher you can extinguish, okay? If you would have answered me the fire is big, then I wouldn't say anything, okay? But the thing with fire, and it happened, for example, on the Cougar last day, it was same situation. Fire on the chief mate cabin, which is downstairs, okay? So all the crew was on the boat waiting for this connection, and it took like 9 minutes for the crew to go to the cabin. Okay, so in fire situations, the time is very, very important. And the time management is really, really important. Okay, so probably on the first minute, if the fire is small, you can extinguish the fire with a fire extinguisher, just like this. Okay, if you wait more time, you will need bigger assistance, let's say, or bigger efforts to extinguish the fire. Okay. So I just asked you, how big is the fire? You said small. Okay, then I said, okay, so maybe Diosdado doesn't need to wear the fireman outfit. Okay, so it's fine. If you would have answered to me, it's a big fire, then yes, okay, I have nothing to say. Okay, so yeah, time management on fire situation is really, really important. And maybe with a little fire, with the first initial action, we can avoid future bigger actions. Okay, so quite good. Just I was missing maybe there was some confusions also, because captain said, okay, let's start the firefighting pump. Okay, and also lack of familiarization with equipment maybe. Okay, because you were asking me, but is the valve open or not? And I said, well, there's always a valve open there, so you can always activate. Okay, this is something which is normal because you just started here on this boat. We are all quite new, okay, but emergency situations can happen at any time, so everybody should be familiar with equipment. Okay. Okay. that would be from my side. Yeah. Also, I mean, cook was also with you down, but no any instructions for the cook. He was just looking like this, you know. So just on emergency situation, make clear instructions. Okay, you do this, you do that. Okay. Also, at some point, chief engineer was saying, "Yeah, but Captain, an AV has to go and open the valve." Okay, and the AV was preparing himself for assisting to the fire. So maybe the cook was close to you. You can say, "Cook, go there." Okay, or you can also go there. I know if you are, we were down here. Okay, you can also go and just make sure that one of the valves is open just to start the pump. Okay, so it's a matter of time management and it's a matter of crew distribution. Okay, if somebody is like this and there are others that have to do many actions, that's wrong. I mean, all the actions should be shared. Okay, so that's it. Okay, last drill, it was in fact 2 drills. Okay, and this I will give you like some homework to do. The thing is, I said, oh, there's a collision on starboard bow, and I can see gas oil outside. Okay, so it was good, immediate action. Everybody went down. You identified it's on the bow thruster room. Okay, and you said, oh, there's water coming in. Immediately you prepare the damage control kit. Okay, but there was no any action regarding the gas oil leak. Okay, which then I ask you, chief engineer, and I understand that you are quite new. Okay, but I ask you, which is the tank that is affected? And you said me, I don't know. Okay, so everybody, especially the chief engineer, should be completely familiar with the location of the tanks and which tanks they are. Okay, so in fact, when I was saying that gas oil is going out, it's because tank number 2 is affected, and this is one of the daily tanks, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so if there's water coming inside one of the daily tanks, there have to be some actions done, which is avoid going this gas oil, dirty gas oil mixed with water, going to the engines. Okay, because we are making suction of the daily tanks, and the gas oil goes straight to the main engines. Okay, so first thing to do is probably isolate these daily tanks. Okay, once it's isolated, there are more actions to be done. I mean, we have a huge leak of gas oil into the water. Okay, we have no any control kit for outside for the water, let's say, but as per SOPEP list, okay, or MARPO regulation, we have a SOPEP list of contacts. We should locate the contacts of Equatorial Guinea and make inform about what's going on. Okay, so I was missing more or less this part also. Yeah. So there was no any action taken about the gas oil leak, no any communications to the authorities explaining like, hey, we have gas oil, whatever. And yeah, that's it.
If any tank without daily tank, for example, number 4, I check net some milk, okay, isolate tank. So,
yeah, I mean, you have two daily tanks, one on starboard, one on port. So one on starboard is affected, so you have to isolate somehow.
Each tank also net can isolate.
Yeah, but I mean, I was missing these actions. Okay, so one of the things that I will write on the management visit report is to be completely familiar, and also not only for you, which is essential, it's also for all the crew. I mean, this is an action that I did on the other tugboats, and it's as easy as you have the plan, okay, of the tanks, and then you gather all the crew, you go down to the engine room, and it's like, okay, here, what do we have? Here is the gas oil number 5, or here is the tank number 12, or here is whatever, and here are the valves, okay? Because it's very difficult to make a simulation of a collision and flooding, okay? But the only thing that we can do is to be prepared in case of this situation. And to be prepared means that every crew member should know more or less where the things are, okay? So if we have, for example, a collision and one of the gas oil tanks on port side is affected, and so every crew member should know, here, that's gas oil tank number 5, or this is number 12, or this is how it is, okay? So this is more or less, it's a little familiarization you should do to the crew members, it's 10, 15 minutes maximum.
Yeah.
Okay, just explaining. Look, we go to the bow thruster. Here is daily tank number this, number what, whatever, and here is the valve that I have to open for the suction, or here is, you know, like make a little explanation to all the crew members so that they are familiar. Okay, first yourself and then to all crew. Okay, no, but I mean, this is the only way to be prepared in case of collision and flooding. Okay, so that everybody knows where is what on board. Okay, where is this tank? Where is the other tank? Okay. Okay, that would be it from my side. I don't know if you have any comments over there. Everything clear? Okay. I just wanted to mention something else. It's, well, you know, boat to boat operations are, well, you have done a few or a lot, I can imagine, but you saw nothing to say, nothing to complain, but it's just to realize, okay, on a boat to boat operation, you have to be very, very focused. And as soon as, I don't know which drill was, maybe the man overboard or whatever, you were conversations with the chief mate and whatever, and then you lost a little bit the concentration, and the messenger line broke on the Husky, you know. And I mean, it's really, it's just to mention, you know, like, it's difficult to be doing two things at the same time. So that's why we also make these reels, okay? So you have to maneuver on one side, communicate on the other side, okay? So these things can happen, especially on real operations, where you are especially more nervous, okay? Yeah, I mean, you are now we were quite relaxed, everything was relaxed, but we were disconnecting while we have a man overboard, okay? So the captain was doing two things at the same time, driving and speaking and whatever, and we had this confusion in where he took too much tension and the messenger broke, okay? So this thing is just to emphasize that if we put this on a real situation, this escalates much more, okay? So because you are very, very nervous, all the crew is jumping and running around, many conversations by the radio, many conversations with the pilot by the radio, you are driving at the same time, so you are doing many, many things at the same time, and the possibilities of having extra damages or extra emergencies are quite high, okay? So it's just to that you are aware, okay?
Okay. Understood.
Thank you very much for your time.
Welcome.
¿Alguna pregunta?
Thank you, gentlemen.